wild, no rules, garage-a-billy rock and roll. We're talking music, chaos, live energy, and everything in between. So turn it up and let's get into it. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Ed, the man behind Static Shift Radio, holding it down for rock artists and keeping the scene alive. Shout out to Ferg from Fergin Around and Retro FM podcast. He wasn't able to make it this round. Rolling with me today, though, is co-host Reggie the Great. And we can't forget our producer Disease, keeping us and the sound in check. So, how's it going, guys?
Good. Going all right, man. I've been working fantastic.
That's awesome. So we have Greg, we have two Davids, and Malcolm is not there, but shout out to Malcolm.
Yep, shout out to Malcolm. And if at some point in time we mention someone named Mikey, that's the same guy as Malcolm.
Okay.
Okay.
So, take us back to the moment the band got together. Yeah, I've seen, you've had several members and exchanges, but let's start from the beginning and, if there's no raw emotions, just give it to us.
Excellent. So I started the group in 2021, and lots of little things went on, recorded a song and all, but the first real time we were together as a band, it was me, and it was a 3-piece for one show, and it was a Halloween show. And what we did, all the other bands were playing like a tribute to one man. So there was a B-52s tribute for that Halloween show, a Britney Spears one, stuff like that. I didn't do that. What we did was we did several covers of various things. Like there was a Cramps song, some Gun Club songs and all that. But I changed the lyrics to make them all cat themed. So like, I Want to Be Your Dog became Meow, I Want to Be Your Cat. And we did an instrumental, Link Ray's Rumble, which is called a Cat Fight. So that's how it began, late 2021. And then that band adding one more member, a longtime member who's not with us any longer. But I mean, when I say not with us, none of these guys died. Jason Engel joined, and that original lineup lasted about a year. And it was predicted that way because the first drummer and bass player, Darren and Colette, they were a couple, and they told me, we'll play with you for about a year, and then we're going to live in band life. They have their own band. So that's how it started. And early on in those days, Dave, with the beard back there, Rob Zombie looking guy, was coming to some of our early shows. He was a friend of Jason, and that's kind of how we got to know each other. He was originally his band.
Look awesome. How that worked out.
Yeah.
Following the band and joining the band.
Yeah. Was that right? Yeah.
So following the band and joining the band.
That's right. Yeah.
Right on.
Hell yeah.
So take us back to the moment that the band, while on stage, you're playing for, the fans. When did it feel real and not just an idea, but felt more like this is the band, this is where we're going?
Yeah. And I feel like it'd probably be good if we give a couple answers, because like I can tell you when it felt like that to me for Feral Housecats as an entity at all, but these guys may have different experiences having been with the group, not from the very beginning. But for me, in 2022 was the first time I played at this small festival outside of Chillicothe, Ohio, called the Pointless Fest, and so it was with the original lineup, and I was terrified. So right before we played, there was a group that was pretty much playing covers. They're called Good and Stout. Chad Stout's their guitar player. He's since become a friend of mine. And they're playing all these kind of 70s rock covers and just sounding brilliant. And I actually remember saying to myself, if someone comes up to me right now and says, dude, we're running behind schedule, you guys can't play, I will feel relieved. But we played, and we played great. And that audience embraced us like crazy. And that Pointless Fest has happened every year since. Actually, this past year was the last one. So we all played it. David here has played it with me twice. Dave just played it the 1 year. So, but anyway, that's my answer. But I think it'd be best if someone other than me does some talking.
When I first saw these guys, it was at the Mad Lab Theater, and I had come because I was in a metal band with the guitar player at the time. And then when I had told Greg, I said, if anything ever happens to this band and you need a bass player, count me in because you guys are fun. I like what you're doing. I think it would be awesome to be a part of this. And when their bass player and the drummer parted ways with them, I was like, yes, I'm in. So I went to Greg and I was like, hey man, but the guitar player decided he would rather play bass. So he switched over to bass and I was like, oh man, that sucks. But then a couple, like maybe a year later, the bass player or the guitar player, at this time, the bass player, my friend, comes to me and says, hey man, I know you mentioned something about, liking this music and everything. Do you think you could cover for me for one show? I'm like, sure. So I sat down, learned all the music for the set, and we had one practice with them and went and played that show, and it went really well. And then about 2 weeks later, he came to me and said, hey, my wife just had something happen to her at work. I think I'm going to have to bow out. Would you be willing to take over for me? And I was like, yes. Hell yeah. I said, but, if you ever want to come back, I'll step away, but absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and then this guy, he came in right before I did.
Yeah, I joined the band off of so
Craigslist ad, right?
yeah, I had told my mom I'm really trying to get in a band, right? And she sent me a bunch of Craigslist ads. Well, the first one I ended up seeing was the one Greg had put up for we need a lead guitar player, Feral Housecats, right? I was like, I listened to the music for a bit, and I was like, okay, it's clearly garage, but it's like really fun, I would love to be a part of something like this. So I ended up sending him an email and whatnot, right? He got back to me, and kind of going back to your question, right, about when did it feel real?
Yeah.
Probably by the first couple practices where it wasn't just me and Greg. when I actually met Jason and practiced with him and our drummer at the time.
Evan, yeah.
In the basement. And they're like they're showing me like maybe a couple riffs to each song around the time because I didn't know all of them. And we would just play away at those. I was like, oh god, this is really the process.
Yeah, and a neat thing about that is so there's a festival in Columbus that's kind of a big deal to us, and I've never been able to play it. I performed little bits of it when I was in my acting days, but I never gotten to play it. It's called ComFest Community Festival, and it's like I believe, or at least they claim that it is the biggest festival in the country that has absolutely no corporate sponsorship. And so I was really excited that I got us into ComFest. And then as that was coming up, my guitar player, another guy named David, by the way, told me he was going to have to step away because he felt like he was not in his other bands that were like his projects. He was not writing anymore because he was spending. So anyway, David, we finally got him ready to play. His first show with us was, at that point in time, our biggest show ever. So I was pretty confident and excited because of, what I experienced in practice. But, at the time, I did not know anything about, well, I don't know how this 21-year-old kid's gonna, at that time, 21-year-old, gonna react to this. And, reacted, of course, very well. And one thing I'll just say too about like members leaving and all this stuff. Throughout the history of Feral Housecats, with a couple of exceptions, like Jason was an exception. It was always me and some people who were willing to play with the band. And now it's me and some people who really, really, really want to be in the band.
That's awesome.
So like now it's people who have come to me to join rather than, yeah, I'll do it. So when people come to you and when people's response is, yeah, I'll do it, as an adult, all these people got jobs, some of them got kids and stuff. Like, they're not going to be here forever. You just, maybe the guys we have now, maybe we're going to be together forever. Dave just left, so I don't know what's up with that. But
Oh, that's because I asked him if he had any Kleenex. My nose.
Oh, gotcha.
So now that you guys have the people that want to play in the band, how does that affect the process for building new songs, writing new records?
That's a good question.
It is a good question, and I don't know that we even totally have it answered yet.
It's mostly mindset. Like, the one consistency is how inconsistent we are in terms of like, the players of the band. Because like all the lead players played differently, all the drummers played differently, all the bass players do the songs differently. So that's an inside joke.
As in, some of them knew the song.
Fair enough.
But
like the main thing is like you learn to adapt it because it's not like there's a blueprint,
Yeah.
That it starts with like riffs and like punchlines mostly.
And it seems like with the different variations of the different members, there's recordings of the songs, but they're just kind of like a guideline, a structure of the song. But each member plays the song differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like my bass lines are way different than the other bass players' bass lines, which were different from the bass player before him. So, and I think it's evolved pretty well.
yeah, one thing answering that question, about the process has changed.
It's winterized.
Very good. Sorry, always distractions. As if like you were here. One thing about the process. So like we are releasing an album in March, and it's called Go Feral Yourself, and a lot of the songs on it are actually songs that we've recorded over the years previously, but now that we've got the lineup we have now, and we had the opportunity to go into a professional studio to make it. So that's why when they bring up saying like the old recordings are sort of blueprints, that's what that's about. I will say one thing is that the really probably a better answer to your question. I am more open, and I'm getting better at but I still got to work on this. I'm a little bit of a control freak, but I'm more open to other people writing songs in the group now. We haven't done a lot of that. We've got one song where David wrote the original music for it. Dave hasn't written any songs for us yet, but he did bring a very obscure cover that he was playing solo that we decided to incorporate into our work. So hopefully my control freakishness is lessening a bit. I guess another thing that happens though within our stuff is like David here on guitar. like he's been really great about just, and he seems to really love it too. He just has a lot of freedom when it comes to stuff. It's like, okay, once you know the song, once you know the basic thing I'm doing in this song, I just trust you. And lead stuff goes all over the map with him. We're really lucky to have his skill, his excitement, and all that. And like even this album that we have coming out, like David and I were talking about it as we were driving over here. Nothing's definitive. It's not definitive versions because he's not gonna like. He was listening. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever played this solo like this before or since," and I don't care. Like I keep posting videos of certain songs with guitar solos. You know, he doesn't play the same solo twice too often. So,
nice.
And that's the thing that we didn't have so much in the past.
Okay, and so I think everybody's bringing their own flavor now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it makes
That's
it
awesome.
a little bit more feral. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Goes with the band's name.
That's right.
It.
And then people know they better not miss a show because they might miss out on a certain sequence or something.
That's right.
Yep.
They never sound the same.
They seem to miss the shows anyway, though.
So
but you're right.
I've watched some of your videos, man. Watching you guys, y'all are having an absolute blast on stage.
Yeah,
so
You know,
what part of the band surprises people once they actually hang out with you guys?
It might be that we're not a bunch of crazy drunks.
most of us.
I mean, I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer here. I'm a retired drinker.
I have a beer.
Yeah.
Real.
I usually have my first
Got
beer
my-
as we go on stage.
My
And-
water.
Yeah.
Malcolm, he's usually pretty well half lit by the time we hit the stage.
That
He was drunk.
Malcolm's not drunk. He's just fucking crazy. He's crazy all the time. Then he goes and he has one beer and he's crazy, and people think, "Oh, you're crazy because you're drunk." No, he's just crazy.
That's for real feral cat.
Yeah, he's crazy sober, but
Yeah, he's a guy. I don't want to go into like too much of his business, but he's older than us. He's 62 years old. Been playing drums longer than I've been alive, and I'm 51. But he's also been a vocalist, sometimes guitar player in some wild punk bands. And let's just say he's got a history of he's got a lot of stories about crazy things he's done. He's very, compared to that, settled down now. He doesn't do crazy stuff anymore. Just the crazy always comes out of his mouth. And it's like, I don't know if I'm right about this, but I describe it as like, I think he looks at his life and he's like, you know, you get wistful for like, oh, you know, all that crazy shit I used to do. And like, well, I can't do that anymore. So I'm just going to shout louder.
That must be why he always looked so happy in the drumming videos.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That and the metal teeth make it look like he's always smiling.
He always has. He has like a personality behind
Yeah.
it. You know, you can always see his face strain when he's
Yeah.
really leaning into a groove.
And we played last night, and one of my favorite moments of the set was we were going right into our last song, which is a Leonard Cohen cover, and I'm just saying something to the audience, and then I just stopped and I just had to say, "Stop playing the drums!" Because he's like yeah.
fiddling around the whole
Yeah.
time, trying to talk.
It's awesome. It's like, you know, he's a 62-year-old, 8-year-old.
And my wife today said, "You know what? That actually plays into your guys' set.
Oh, it totally does.
And it seems like it's part of your set. Like stumbling into this guy who's can kind of be a jerk. When he's like, it's almost like you slipped in shit and fell in roses."
I'm gonna have to steal that phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be used to describe the whole band.
That also that might be a new song title. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
So
Yeah.
Your earlier releases that you actually put out to the public,
Mhm.
which I believe was MF Sniper.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little on that first one to the public?
Totally can. Yeah, totally can. And by the way, that is one of the songs that will have will be on the new album with a new recording.
New
It's
members.
what's that?
It's new members now, right?
Oh yeah.
So
His guitar solos are really fun in there. And also having when Malcolm started playing drums with us and we were playing that song, like it's an extra punk rock song. You know, it just feels like it. So that one, that's actually a song that when I started coming up with that, it was really early, and that was the one that made me feel like, oh, I wrote something good. I can really write something really cool, and because it was immediately I felt like it was several steps above what I had been writing before. Lyrically, it is just all literally about a romantic relationship I had that didn't last. I don't write about those too often. If anybody really listens to the lyrics, you'll find there's no complaints or insults about the girl. That in real life, she is now by far and away my best friend. Doesn't love that this song's about her, but she accepts it.
She'll be
and
yeah,
and it's got that I call it zooming, but that like zooming because I learned it trying to learn songs by X and their guitar player Billy Zoom, but just just sliding up from from a half step behind down and her down and her down and and that was I think the first song I wrote that was in a 12-bar blues like that, and it just felt like, oh yeah, this is rockabilly. And it kind of is. Closest we get probably to rockabilly.
Fair enough. Talking about songs, tell me how the Christmas song came about.
All right. You want to start that? So all three of us did play. We got one now that we all worked on together. So.
Hell yeah.
So I guess I would start that story.
Start the story since you started the song.
Yeah, so when I first joined the band, right, I was kind of already starting to come up with stuff. Just after I got a feel for like how the riffs go and whatnot, I just started coming up with stuff in my head, right? And one of them was just this riff, just this really easy da 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 da, kind of a thing. I was like, oh, I should definitely show that to Greg. He'll know how to play that.
Cool enough that I can play it too, yeah.
And it may turn into a song with a band. That'd be really cool. So I pitched it to Greg, showed it to him. He figured it out pretty quickly. And then, there for a while we worked on it with Jason too and whatnot. But basically that not too long after that is when Greg started writing the lyrics, which is where I'll let you take over.
Yeah.
Basically, like within like maybe a couple months or so, he was like, "Oh yeah, the song's gonna be about Santa."
Yeah. I don't want to get like well, whatever. I have a lot of topics and songs that I've always thought, hey, it'd be cool to write that one. And just the concept of Santa as a gateway drug was one I had, and it's something I know not everybody's going to love this idea. I am not a religious person, and I don't think there's a problem with people being religious people, but I do feel like we live in a world, I don't even just want to say country, where it gets pushed on us a lot, and so that was kind of what where that concept came up, and of like, hey, we tell the kids, all right, kids, there's this old man with a white beard in the North Pole, and he's watching you all the time. And if you don't do what he wants, and we'll tell you what he wants, you don't get good presents. And then they get a little older when we say, just kidding, that's not true. But there is one in the sky. And if you don't do what he says, and we'll tell you what he wants, so that's where that concept comes from. But I had to get like a little masturbation joke in there. Don't give your little guy a private tug. Um, and so, we're playing it, and I do take credit for this. Something that's not my style necessarily, but we got to the end and the end of the song, and then suddenly in my head I just heard it slowing down a little bit with the bass stuff, and then that thing, and then it just occurred to me, it was like, David, we're just gonna do this slow jazzy jam and play some Christmas carols, and that's where that came from.
To add to that story, what kind of also started that was Evan would keep playing at the end of what was supposed to be the end of the song, and we would just you were there too, I think. We would just start jamming over that, but it's like the same progression.
Yeah.
But we're just like, I'm turning my reverbs on and whatnot. It sounds totally trippy.
Yeah. And the band is pretty good at jamming, with kind of the exception of me. Like I am a less skilled, less trained musician, I think, than the rest of these guys. I started playing 2020. So I do really well if it's like, okay, I started, here's the chord progression I'm playing, then you guys go over it, and that's
Well,
but
it
if
turned
someone
out
else
awesome.
starts, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I
Greg's
think
a very good
it worked
songwriter.
out either way.
Yeah, that's right.
I do love his record.
So I'll tell you, and I know I'm probably going to get a lot of answers from this one, but do you guys have a song that started as a joke and turned into something real?
Well, I certainly have one. I mean, I'm the one that writes the song, so it's all gonna be me. But like, yeah, actually, all of them, right?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, thankfully, I hope.
Oh yeah, that's a joke. But yeah, uh, there's, I mean, for a job, I work at Trader Joe's, and they just people I work with, talking with all the time. And there's a dude I work with there, and he just, well, best band ever is U2, man. And I'm not really into U2. And so the idea of I love you, but I hate you too came to mind. And it's like, that'd be a funny song. And it'd be about a relationship that goes bad because the girl listens to U2. And it was a joke in my head until it wasn't.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna tell him the line that we say between each other, you and I, text messages. Do you remember it? I'll message David, or he'll message me and be like, "Hey, I got an awesome, terrible idea. Want to hear it?" Gloriously horrible. That's right. So there's that, and don't work, be happy. I thought, I was kind of joking around about that in my head. And we got one called Strong Bones and a Great Smile, where, you remember the old those old commercials in the 80s, for the milk industry.
Yep.
It's like, well, you might think I'm puny now, but I'm drinking. So I just wrote a song, and the lyrics are, you may think I'm puny now, but I'm drinking milk. And that's a couple of the lines, but that's about it. And then we just play, so.
The funny thing about the U2 song, that was the song that, like, we picked up pretty quickly as a band. Like, he kind of, did you have the full thing written out when you first showed it?
I think so, but it's hard to remember.
We picked it up very quickly, and it was like, oh, cool, that'll be, of course, that's going to work in our set, right? Well, for a while now, like, when people think of Feral Housecats, a lot of my friends especially, like, that's the first song that comes to mind, is like that riff, the
yeah. And I guess I have one other really good example, which is our previous drummer, Evan. asked us one day. He's like, "Hey, me and my wife are going to have a cookout on Memorial Day, and we're just going to have bands. You know, it was going to be all the bands he played in. We're going to play in the basement." But Sarah, his wife, requested every band play at least one cover, but like a cover. Hey, funny, I'm getting a phone call, but I'm just going to ignore that. But a cover that's not something that you would normally play. And so I asked Evan, you know, what is Sarah like? Like, I know she goes to see all your noisy bands, but what is she like otherwise? She's like, well, kind of like Taylor Swift. And I'm like, okay. And then it just occurred to me, man, I really love that I Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue. Why don't we learn that? But I didn't necessarily think I was going to, we were going to end up recording it, but that ended up being the case. I just got something that said recording resumed 3, 2, 1. You've been hearing me?
Yeah,
I can
sounds
hear you.
remote
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. So anyway, that's another one that was like joking, sort of, but then for a while it became our closer at every show.
That's awesome.
So I got a question about one that you just said earlier. Don't work, be happy. And then it says, don't sue me.
What's that? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So we have, okay. So there's two versions of that. So there's the regular version, which doesn't say that. And at the end of that version, I recite a poem. And I read, you know, I did send a message to it's a very obscure poem by a man, his name was Pedro Pietri, and he was, I didn't know much about him. Someone had once played the poem for me, and it just like stuck with me. But I've since, you know, read up about him. He was part of what was known as the New Yorican movement of poets, with New York, Puerto Rican. And I think we're talking the 60s and 70s. And this poem is called like Telephone Booth number 109 and a half. So I found his widow on Facebook, sent a message saying, "Hey, I would like to pay some money to," and I've never heard anything back, and I've never found any other way to reach her. And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to include the poem. I'm going to list him as a co-writer. If I ever get a message that says you need to take that down, I'll offer money, and if they won't take money, I'll do what they say and take it down. But I'm also going to record a version that just has just the sound at the end, but not the poem. So I just probably shouldn't have mentioned this publicly. But yeah, that's why I don't sue me.
His widow's out there
Gotcha.
to this podcast right now.
Yeah.
She's like, damn it.
Well, that's okay, because like I said, my dream would be that she would someday read my message and say, I want, 50% of the royalties or $200. And I'm like, well, I will give you the $200 because it is never going to make $400 in royalties.
I got $13 from ASCAP.
Yeah.
So I always see a lot of bands go through Ohio, a lot of festivals, a lot of promotion and stuff. So what's it like for working musicians to get gigs?
You're the only one who can answer that.
Well, yeah, I guess. We're not making money. That's the thing. We're a pretty small level group, at least in terms like I've watched several of your podcasts, and then I'll kind of check out some of the groups, and they definitely, a lot of those groups have a bigger profile, than us. And of course, I don't know much. I'm just looking at like their Instagram page or their Spotify, which can't base everything off of that, but
Right.
like we have on a couple of occasions played at ComFest, which is a free festival, where we may have played to a couple hundred people, and that's probably the biggest crowds we've had. We do get like it turns. I just found out today. Yeah, we're gonna get $30 from last night's gig. We've had a few $400 shows,
Money's
where
money.
people. That's right. And we've had people hire us for parties. And that'll be a few hundred, usually $100 a piece. And that, yeah,
for your parties again.
that's right. Yeah.
You want to.
So we can get gigs, at these small bars, relatively easily. And we've traveled around Ohio a decent bit. Next week we're playing a place called the Melody Inn in Indianapolis, which is really the first time we're getting this band out of Ohio. And I've been there with another band once, and that place is awesome. But
Indianapolis.
We're not going to get $1,000 or anything at that gig, but we may hopefully get to play to an audience of people who's like, who are these guys? Let me listen, which is really the best thing for us right now, is like an audience of people that don't know us but are open to paying attention, rather than the audience of people who are just like, well, when's my friend's band come up?
Yeah, speaking of bands' Instagram and online presence, your guys' videos always look really good. So who's the genius behind that?
Depends which videos you mean. If it's the live stuff, that's David's mom.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, she definitely makes it look like
does a good job.
Yeah, she makes it look like you guys are bigger and bolder than a lot of other people. So give her a high five.
Excellent. Yeah.
So
she's an online radio DJ herself.
Okay.
But yeah, so she and it's cell phone videos usually. I mean, some of the other, like if it's the stuff where it's just me talking, I mean, that's just me holding my phone like what we're doing right now. Except we're leaning it up against the basket. Like tech. And then like we have some music videos. We have a couple kind of professional music videos. The Christmas song Gateway Drug has one, and then Rock and Roll's Not Convenient has one. And those are things that I paid a company called Boxland Media to make. And those definitely, look more professional. But yeah, like nowadays, like that's just one of the things I had no idea I was getting when David joined the band. I was like, and we're going to get video of almost every show. I had no idea.
I part of the reason for that too is because like when I was growing up, right, watching with the internet being a big deal and a lot of bands promoting themselves on there, you just saw like this endless wormhole of like bands going on tour, and like every show would be filmed and whatnot. Yep. And I was like, well, our band should definitely have something similar, just in case somebody gets bored enough or autoplay does its thing,
Absolutely.
You could fall asleep watching some analog board video and end up on Feral Housecats when you wake up. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like every time I handle all our social media stuff and all that, and every time I post something, like I know this is not likely, but there's that thought, well, I mean, I think this is how I met you guys. You guys, I think, saw us on a Instagram reel, and it's probably one of the ones I'll pay like a few dollars a day to boost those to people that don't know us. And I've gotten contacts with radio stations that way, other bands that way. I think you guys that way. I think. And so that's kind of the hope. Like anytime I post them, it's like, I don't expect this live video of us playing a song where you can't hear the lyrics to suddenly become viral, but who knows, it could. But the other thing is what I really love, and just like something kind of like what David said, wormhole. If someone does hear one of our songs, the official release songs or whatever, and they really like it, I know when I was younger and even now, if I hear something I really like, my next step is what's this band and what's going on there. And with us, what I'm so excited about by this point in time, and it's constantly growing, is there's a lot that you can check out. And because and again, I don't I don't think people do that as much as they used to, but it doesn't mean nobody does.
Yeah.
Well,
All of
so
us old people do that.
So readily available, man.
Yeah.
The good thing about the internet, you know, you make one clip of your show on stage, and someone or the right person comes across it, you know, and you never know where it'll take you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I'm not saying that we don't have a lot of fans in places like Australia, but we do have fans in Australia, and Finland, and Sweden, and California and stuff like that. There are people who really like what we're doing everywhere. There's just not many of them anywhere yet.
I'll tell you what, we actually picked up some fans out of England, a while back with the band Thoria.
So that was the first one I watched.
They're based out of England, man, and you'd be surprised how many following that like you get from over there. It's like once it reaches over there, it just spreads. So
I'm on my own, guys. I'm gonna tell you the real truth about these guys.
While they're
gone.
All right.
Well,
go ahead,
Robert.
Sorry, I just respond to something you said there because you mentioned England. You mentioned that song, MF Sniper.
Yeah.
This is just going to be Sniper. Instead of saying motherfucking sniper, it says nothing but a sniper. So that was one of the ones we re-recorded, and it is going to get a release, a single release from Damn It Records in this is an English or British record company. Now, this single release means it's going to be on like their Bandcamp sampler of the month. They listened to our stuff and they said, okay, we don't want to promote a full album of this, but we definitely would like to pick one of your songs and put it on our sampler. And so that one, so you mentioned England, we do have same thing, some little footprint there, and I would like there to be more. There's some rockabilly bands I have really good relationship with, a group called Unlucky Strike that I think is awesome in England. It's just an internet relationship, but
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you slowly grow into other countries, man, and I'll tell you, Europe has a wide range and variety of music over there. I lived there for 2 years, and walking down the street, there is so many pubs that, they individually have their own genres. Okay, there's a rock band, there's a punk rock, there's rap, there's the only thing I've never heard in Europe is country music.
Okay.
So, but
There's probably a reason for that.
Nobody's giving their dog and truck away, huh? No, but yeah, I mean, it's different life over there, and yeah, we've picked up followings from Australia, Austria, England, Germany, even some in India. So it's I mean, the internet could be a great thing and it could be a bad thing.
Yeah. My absolute favorite rock group ever, and what I think we don't sound like them, but I think a lot of what I do is a rip-off of this guy. It's a group called The Fall. They were a British band. It lasted from pretty much 76 till about 2017. But it was one guy, Marky Smith was his name, and whoever he hadn't recently fired. So it's interesting that it looks like I'm doing the same thing, but I don't fire people. I don't have fights with these guys, but there were 70 members of The Fall throughout the time. And lots of my stage banter, I feel like, is ripped off a little bit from him. I like to think of myself as the nice Marky Smith. I'm maybe not the genius that I think he is, but I'm also not an asshole like he was.
I'm an asshole.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just talking about my favorite musician. Yeah, Marky Smith and Jonathan Richmond is kind of where I took all my stage talking from.
Okay. Well, that
I'm
brings
thinking
up my next question. If you guys could collab with any other musician or group, who would that be?
Ooh.
Did you get that, David?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Malevolent Creation. No.
Malevolent Creation. Malevolent Creation is one of those things that he listens to.
I post them on my Instagram.
Okay.
They're one of my favorites.
Little death metal howl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's fun to collaborate with Dead Heart.
Yeah. Dead Heart is David's other group,
Okay.
and I get some credit for them founding. I think, right? Because like I was in a punk band also called The Exhausted, a lot more straight ahead punk band. I was playing guitar and just trying to play power chords as fast as I could to try to keep up. I was
D5, D5.
That's right. That's right. I was not. I wasn't great in that band, but it's a cool band. But our
you should look it up. The Exhausted.
The Exhausted, yeah.
Okay.
Our lead
little piece of rock history for you.
Our lead singer and the guy who pretty much founded the group is a guy named John Shank, and after The Exhausted, someone left and we just didn't continue. He kept coming to Feral Housecats shows, and he wanted to start something else. And that was shortly after David had joined us. And next thing you know, David tells me, "Yeah, I've been playing with John." And it's like, well, I knew David as good as he was. Someone was gonna snatch him up into a second band. Thank goodness it's one of my best friends, But they're well, I'll let you talk more about it. Dead Heart.
So Dead Heart is a 3-piece psychobilly band featuring me, Dead Johnny on upright bass and vocals, and that would leave Charlie Aggression on drums. It's really metal inspired psychobilly, like if you took your inner Reverend Hornby and introduced Slayer kind of music,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
More your inner Nick 13, I guess, but it's still really heavy, really thrashy, punky, while still being rockabilly somewhat. And it's a 3-piece with an upright bass. What more could you want?
And while we're on that topic, Dave could tell you about the Reign of the Fallen.
Oh yeah, the metal band I'm in. We've only done 2 shows now, but finally getting our set together. We got 3 songs that the other guy, the drummer and the guitar player, wrote 30 years ago.
Wow.
And they're like really intricate. The one song has 27 parts and none of them repeat. So
if you've been practicing a song for 20-something years, there's going to be a lot of changes.
Well, they wrote them 20 plus years ago, but then they didn't play them for
18 of those years.
And then they were like, let's bring this back. And they never had a bass player before, so they didn't have any recordings of bass. So they just said, come in, put whatever you want with it. And then we just got a singer recently and played first show, and it went over pretty well. And now we're looking to get more shows.
But let me go back to your actual question, I guess. If Kylie Minogue wanted to sing on one of our songs, I'd go for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy in another English musician I really love named Luke Haynes. Used to have a group called the Auteurs. But lately he's done some albums with Peter Buck from REM. But yeah, I'd certainly collaborate with Luke Haynes. That'd be pretty incredible. But yeah, Kylie. Yeah, Kylie. Get a better voice on our songs than mine.
Even though I feel like is still very necessary.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna let her sing her song. We're gonna write a new song where she gets the.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She could be the.
And then you can hop on with.
Yeah, she can dump me. She can be the person that dumps me in the song. That'd be awesome.
We'd also work with Taylor Swift.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm not against it. I don't think she wants to work with us. She hasn't responded to my last couple messages, but
Mine
you know,
either.
she never responded to mine either.
She'll be making a song about you guys.
oh, wouldn't that be great?
Please. I mean,
you know,
that wouldn't that be so funny?
Well, I was just say that reminds me of something. Something I really love doing is I like writing songs about musicians. You know, the U2 one is one. We got a song called "I Want to Be a Cowboy," which is about a Columbus band called the Mascara Cowboys. And then right after we recorded it, they announced that they weren't playing any more shows. Unrelated, but it was not a diss track. I love the band. I got a song
They just
called
took
Cookie
it the wrong way.
Yeah, we got a song called "Cookie" about a local Columbus musician who one day we were hanging out talking at at his place, and then having a meeting about something. When it came time, I was like, "Oh, I gotta leave. I'm gonna pay." He's like, "Oh, I'll pay for your beers," which again, non-alcoholic beers, but whatever, they cost the same. And I was like, "Okay, cool, thank you. I also got a cookie," and he's like, "I'm not paying for your cookie." And so I wrote a song about I won't pay for your cookie. So.
That's awesome.
Behold the push it to you of rock and roll.
Did we play Quickie the night that we played the Witch Lab with him?
No.
So we actually played a show with that guy in his band at a place called the Witch Lab. And Greg just happened to walk into the back room at just the wrong time because the dude went into a guitar solo. And when he did, he reached down and grabbed a box of cookies and pulled them out and put one in his mouth and proceeded to do his guitar solo with this cookie in his mouth, crunching it and crumbling it. And there's cookies all over the stage. And
and the best part is half the cookie falls to the stage, right? Who ended up picking the other half of that cookie up and eating it?
I felt so guilty that I was not in there when he did it, that when I came back out during a later song, I saw that cookie there, and I was like, well, I'm just going to eat that cookie then. Yeah, that was me.
Man. So, for the band, out of all your songs, what song represents the personality of the band right now?
It's a really good question, and it doesn't just have to be me. I would like to have other guys answer, and then I'll answer.
I'll let you go first.
I love you, but I hate you too. It's gotta. It really.
That song gets the party started.
Yeah, it does. It's got a really upbeat tempo to it. It's got, it's just funny, and we all got good sense of humor, and I think that song draws on it.
Yeah, I'd say I'll let Greg answer.
Okay.
I'll answer after.
The one I got in mind is a song called "Something Good," and it's especially since I definitely don't want to talk too much about bleak situations going on in our world right now, but I feel that, and the lines in the song, it starts with "Something good is coming for me now, although my current circumstances make it hard to fathom how." But also, it's a song with a previous guitar player of ours helped create it, Daniel Stauffer, and he did these wild and crazy guitar solos. And then Danny he had a lot going on in his life. He really couldn't be reliable for the band. And I was like, all right, well, this song still sounds cool. And then like David Lawler played, and he played some cool stuff. I was like, oh, I'm never going to have guitar solos like that again. And then when this David joined, that was the thing that really showed, like when he started playing that song and just going wild on that song. That was when I realized we haven't lost anything. And that's another one that's going to be on the next quarter, but it is like, it's our foray a little bit. It's a little metally, especially with the solos he plays.
I play a lot of metal.
It yeah. So that's the song. So it's a song to me, kind of about a little bit of it's a thought process I use to try to take myself through negative times. And I love the song, and it's got it's like historical within the band context. So that's the one for me right now.
Awesome.
You know, if there's any, so when people ask about bands I'm in or whatever, right? Because I have friends and coworkers and whatnot that happen to be hip to what's going on and whatnot. And usually when they ask me about the Feral Housecats in particular, there's two songs I'll always show them, and that's like he said, "Love You But I Hate You Too," and then there's also "I Should Have Taken Drugs," which that's one. That's just one of the ones. The second it comes on, you get the whole vibe of it.
Yeah, should have taken drugs. Yeah.
So Greg and I did a duo show one time, not too long ago, and he played "I Should Have Taken Drugs" and I accompanied him. And then I played a cover song that I do called "Substance Abuse Problem." And it was funny
back.
Yeah. Because he would play a song and then I would play a song, and he would play one and then I would play one, and we would accompany each other in these songs. And we're about ready to do that again at the Half Baked.
February 27th. Yes.
Yeah. that was fun.
Ted Hart's playing. Yeah, have you guys heard that one? "I Should Have Taken Drugs"?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs we have.
I'll tell you what. Earlier in the show at the beginning, you're talking about you hope that this is the band, but listening to you guys, I believe y'all found the band members.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot.
And when you get to hear the new recordings, so a couple of them are out. Like a couple songs we have out, the "Don't Go Home" with El Cohen and "I Hope" that are available on streaming services. They're both from the upcoming album, and so those are the ones that have Malcolm and from the professional studio and the three of us. But when you hear the rest of it, I think you'll feel even more what you just said. And you guys have said, I know you guys do your homework. I've watched that on your podcast. Like when you see a lot of the live videos we've had posted lately, that's that current lineup. And I agree. It is possible that the band will come to an end because like my head's going to explode trying to understand what Malcolm is shouting about at some point in time. But yeah, like we step on stage right now. I can only speak for myself, but I think I'm talking about the other thing. We step on stage, we feel very confident. We don't necessarily know how to get tons of people to come see us, but we know how to win over some people. And especially last night was a great example. It's a dude that hadn't seen us since one of our first shows ever. And this is Ty Landrum. And so it was so exciting to play for him because it was like, this is not the same band that, played in March of 2022. But we did play a couple of the same songs.
Awesome. So, and you guys are talking about the album coming out. When does the album come out again?
Early March. I might set a date of March 5th. That's sort of a special date to me. That when I mentioned that favorite band of mine, The Fall, March 5th was Marky Smith's birthday, and so I like that as a date. We're playing a album release party on March 8th.
Okay.
And the album is called "Go Feral Yourself."
Awesome.
I'd love to show you some artwork, but that's still being worked on.
Fair
Gotcha.
enough.
We'll be looking for it.
Yeah.
March 8th.
Yeah, if
and you said
anybody
you guys are
Columbus-
having an album
Uh,
release
they-
party. Where is that at?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's a really awesome place called the Rumba Cafe in Columbus, and March 8th is March 8th is a Sunday. So just for some other reasons, we were looking for something that day, and they have a really great local band called the Hoodoo Soul Band that plays every Sunday at 9:00. It'll get jam packed and all that. So when I asked them about a show, and I was like, "Could we do something early?" They're totally thrilled to give us 5 to 7:30.
Okay.
So we're playing that, and we're playing with Debris, which is 2 members, former Feral Housecats, Evan Carr and David Lawler. That's their band. And then we're playing with a band from a local, well, about an hour away, Chillicothe group called Idle Tribe.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. And that one, the intention right now is it'll be an online album and CD. So the online album is going to have 11 songs. The CD is only going to have 9 because I totally understand what you need to do to get cover licenses for online stuff, but actual physical stuff, I'm just not going to deal with it. So we're just not putting the covers on the actual CD.
So everything on the CD will be the original songs?
Yeah.
Awesome. And where can they find you guys to order the CD?
Well, I got to figure that out, huh? Normally with stuff like that, like when people want to order stuff like that, I've never set up a store. It's always just been, you can find me, you write me a message on Instagram, and we've sold a lot of T-shirts and records that way. Well, a lot. Okay, some T-shirts and records that way, or just message me and I'll work it out. And thank you very much, Reggie, for asking that, because that's another thing maybe I should get in, maybe set up the Bandcamp store or something like that between now and March.
I'll tell you what, Greg, after this show, I can try to put you in touch with someone. We'll talk about it more afterwards. But a good guy I know, he handles a lot of people's records and CDs, and so we can. I'll let you know.
It becomes a big deal later.
Well, this will be available on YouTube for as long as.
Yep. YouTube. This will be on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble. So, yeah. Afterwards, we'll get you. I'll try to get you set up with somebody.
Okay, that'd be great.
Also, Reggie, I usually ask 3 questions. Our Ferg asks 3 questions. Our Reggie will ask 3 questions. He's already asked one of them, which is the collaboration. The other 2 is what's your dream venue? And what's a moment in your life that really shaped who this band is right now?
Ooh.
All right, I would like to think.
Dream venue.
Yeah. So dream venue. Well, I have an answer, but I'll let you guys go first.
That's what I was going to say. Is let you go first.
Yeah.
If it was a local venue, I'd say the Newport.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's one it's a higher capacity, but not like a huge venue.
Couple thousand.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of my favorite bands there. And I'd just like to play that venue.
So, you have one yet?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
For my dream venue, it'd have to kind of go back in time. There was a place called in Cincinnati called the Southgate House, and there is now the Southgate House Revival, and we have played there. But my dream would be the old Southgate House in their big room, and like I saw a handful of shows there. the fall I saw there. So that's it right now. But like I don't know all the I don't want to throw out things like the Roxy or the Whiskey A Go Go or something. Like I don't know enough to know if I would want to play places like that. So yeah, nostalgia takes it for me.
Notice nobody said halftime at the Browns.
I am a Browns.
Sorry.
Well, speaking of gigs that'll never happen, mine would be so mine again. This is not very realistic, but we'll run with it as if it is, just for the sake of putting it out there, right? I recently went to my first and probably only Viva Las Vegas event with my mom at the Remains.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say for both this band and Dead Heart, for the record, the dream would be to get them to Viva and get them playing in that venue, playing at the Orleans in Las Vegas. That would be fucking sick.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Obviously, it probably won't happen, but
yeah, the question was
Hey,
dream, Ben. Not
You gotta
coming.
try to manifest it.
that's the whole point, right?
Yep.
Okay, and the other question was can you state it again, like a defining moment?
So, moment in your life where it really shaped who you are today, the band.
Okay.
Wow.
I got an answer for that for myself. I was working at Trader Joe's. This would have been 2020. Would have been during the pandemic and the very early part of it. And at the time, so I did not play instruments then, but I was the vocalist of a tribute band to the fall, which really meant, we play these fall songs and just chant and shout. And we had played like 5 times in a couple of years. There wasn't much to it. But the bass player was someone that worked with me at Trader Joe's. And he said to me, "Hey, Greg, we can't get the band together. Why don't you borrow my guitar and start learning how to play so that when we can safely get the 2 of us together, we can play together?" And I said, "No, I can't do that." And then he said it again, and I said, "Yes." So that's the moment. That's how I started playing guitar in 2020.
Awesome.
So
While you guys answer, this is my turn.
So
Tell me whatever they say, guys.
for the question, is this about the band or just ourselves?
It could be both. Whoever, what's a moment in your life that really shaped who you are today?
I would say that would be music class in 7th grade for me.
Wow.
I grew up in a family where nobody in my family played music. And, I was never exposed to it. And I was sitting in the music class and I remember thinking, man, reading this music thing is kind of hard. And I'm really not grasping the reading it part, but I could sit here and play the notes on the piano and hear them and just feel them, you know what I mean? And I was like, there's probably something to this for me because, when I hear music, I love it. And I remember the first time hearing Queen do Another One Bites the Dust, and my mom had it on this little tiny, super tiny radio. It was probably, 2 inches by 3 inches leather covered radio. And I remember hearing that song, and she was getting ready for work in the morning, and I went walking by the bathroom door going, "Bam, bam, bam, Another One Bites the Dust." And, feeling that music and hearing it and feeling it, and then going in and hitting those keys on the piano and being like, this could be something for me because I feel it. I'm not just hitting these notes on the piano. I don't see the notes on the page. The stuff on the page doesn't mean anything to me. But when I hit that note on the piano, I feel it. I feel something. And the weird part about that answer is that teacher, that music teacher, just died yesterday.
Hey.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I just saw a post. His son posted it today that his dad died yesterday, and I was like, wow. And it got me thinking about that just today. You know, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't play music. I mean, I might have encountered something later on down the road, but that for me was the moment when I said, "There's something here. There's something for me here."
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out to him.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Shivers.
Wow.
Right. Well, guys, if
I
y'all
don't follow that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to beat that, bro.
I'm sorry to say, the stories I had lined up weren't cool. So in
They'll
terms
edit it and they'll edit this and they'll just put you in a different order.
Yeah.
So in terms of myself, right? I was about 9 years old when I started playing the guitar. I was about 9. We had just been up here because me and my family, we had moved from Texas to Ohio. So there was a little bit of that, right? But my dad finally sat me down and was like, "Hey, I keep hearing you listen to Danzig. Let's learn how to play some of this stuff." You know, my dad played in metal bands too and whatnot, and but he started showing me some like Danzig, some AC/DC, you know, the stuff that's really easy to play but is still really fun to this day, you know, kind of a thing. And I got started on that. And for a while I was trying to be self-taught and whatnot. I thought I had the edge for it, but you know, eventually I ended up getting guitar lessons at this place called German Village Music House with a teacher. I forget his last name, but Steve
Mitchell.
Yep. Yes. Steve Mitchell taught me for a few years there. And in terms of everything I've done since then, be it with this band, any of my solo stuff, any of the other bands I play in, you know, he taught me a little bit of theory. He taught me a little bit of just crazy shred stuff that you wouldn't do in any other situation unless you had literally someone else playing the progression behind you and that kind of stuff. But you know, just remembering how fun it was to play with other musicians and stuff like that. That's really what made me want to get into band and developing like kind of musical chemistry and whatnot. It's a chaotic but fun process. So
I got another moment I could tell you about for not my
What?
moment, but David's moment.
oh hell yeah.
You know,
But-
you know. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm scared. But if it's what I think it is. But like in terms of this band, that's the main drive of the whole thing is that it's just like, you know, it's my time away from work and whatnot that I get to leave the house and play music, you know, get to take my gear somewhere else and, you know, turn the amps up, hear what other people are playing and try to write like crazy garage rock and whatnot. It's awesome.
So another thing that happened in David's life right before he joined the Feral Housecats, he wasn't in a band. He just was as far as I know, a dude who played a lot, did a lot of, you know, I think we hadn't met, we hadn't talked or anything. But he went to a concert in our town, and there's a band that tours, and they hit Columbus a lot called Daikaiju, and they are a surf band, and they're pretty wild, and they, you know, are on the stages and stuff. And it's, but I guess another thing that they do is when one of them gets tired or whatever, they decide they want to go take a smoke break. They have some audience member come up and just start playing guitar. So they David was one who did such a thing, and I wasn't there. Interestingly enough, I was
On a guitar that had 5 strings.
yeah. I wasn't there. I was meeting with a friend of mine to play some stuff to see if that friend might want to become our guitar player. And I was thinking about going to that concert. And then I called a friend of mine. It's like, hey, should I get back to Columbus in time to see the Daikaiju show? He's like, well, there's a line out the door, so I think they're going to be sold out. Whatever. Because if I would have been there, I would have seen this, where I would just seen David go up and on stage. Because the thing is, when he did get in touch with me via Craigslist, that other friend decided he couldn't do this. When David did get in touch with me on Craigslist, after we talked a little bit, he sent me the video of him playing on stage with Daikaiju. So at least the way I understand it, and maybe I got it wrong, but it was when that happened, and and that got posted online, that a lot of friends of his family started saying to both David and Texas Hell Kitten, his mom, it's time for that kid to be in a band. And I think that may have helped push on the incidents that led to us meeting.
That's what you call perfect timing.
Heck yeah.
Exactly. It's fate at that point, right?
Yeah. It's like you have to do it.
Yeah, and it's, boy, I'm so lucky that other friend decided not to be our guitar player, right? He's really good. He's better than me, and he would have been very good for the Feral Housecats. I never would have thought I could have had someone this good, at this point in time. But that's what happened, and that's what my friend James said. He said, I decided that there'd be a little bit of stress for me driving back and forth from Chillicothe, and you got the resources to get someone way better than me. It was like, I don't know that I do. And then within days I did, so.
That's awesome.
That's something good is coming for me now. My current circumstances make it hard to fathom out. Yeah.
So you manifested it.
Yeah, yes.
In guitar solos, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, all right,
Doesn't
guys.
get any better than that, does it?
We're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes, close to it. So if no one else has anything for the show, we're going to go ahead and start closing.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
One time, what's your guys' Instagram handle?
Okay, it's just going to be Feral Housecats. And so FERAL Housecats, HOUSECATS. Luckily, no one had that. So and so that's that on Instagram, Facebook. It's the same. On YouTube, if you search Feral Housecats, will probably come up. But the actual thing is Feral Housecats 5496.
Okay.
All right. Y'all heard it, guys. That's where you can find Feral Housecats. All right. So that's a wrap on today's episode of BSing with Y-Eagley-Y. Big love to Feral Housecats for hanging with us and sharing their sound
Thank you.
and
Big love,
story.
man.
Look for their release March 8th. And they're going to be at Rumbus Cafe, 5 to 7:30. So you'll go check them out. Support their music. And from all of us at BSing with Y-Eagley-Y and Static Shift Radio, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.